We're back again. All right, it's not Freebie, aka James. Back at it again. With the back half of this weekend of college football reviews. I'm going to put this like this. If I'm watching NFL, it's one of two teams most weeks. It's either the Bills or the Falcons. Mainly because I've been very disconnected on the NFL this year. Everybody sucks. Nobody's good anymore. Actually, I just don't like the product as much as the amount of passion and the amount of leeway that the college kids get. And the amount of, I ain't gonna lie, the energy is just 100% different. I would love to see a close game of any college football game than a close game in any NFL game ever. Because I ain't gonna lie, the chaos and the unpredictableness of college football always tops the NFL, because there's always going to be some level of predictiveness in the NFL where you can kind of guess what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm saying that as a Bills fan who's taking 2 straight losses in terrible, horrible fashion. But that's not the only ones we'll be talking about today, because as an Oklahoma fan, this is the painful episode. So, let's go into the weekend. Starting on Saturday, I really wanted some easy games, because whatever I wanted to watch at 2:30, I wanted it to be clear and easy. At least I got a fun game. James Madison taking on University of Louisiana, or the Raging Cajuns, and the Dukes. It was really competitive. It was 14-7 with Louisiana leading at the half. James Madison quickly came and tied it, and it was pretty well until the fourth quarter, where it was just James Madison taking care of business against Louisiana, who just really couldn't finish the game defensively and kind of fell flat in the second half. Really didn't produce anything of note. Just kind of gave up a couple punts and really just ended their day pretty quietly. We look at James Madison, Alonzo Barnett, the fourth, 27-41, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Wayne Knight, 19 carries, 106 yards. Jordan Fuller, 12 carries, 50 yards. Through the air, Landon Ellis, 6 catches, 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. Braden Wizlowski, 7 catches, 69 yards. Jalen Sanchez, 4 catches, 39 yards. Logan Kyle, 2 catches, 28 yards. And for Louisiana, Lunch Winfield, 14-28, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns and interceptions, 16-23 on the ground. And Bill Davis, the only actual running back on the ground doing anything, 9 for 21. That was another thing that's been a constant theme of my 2 favorite teams, not committing to the run hard enough. And this was the Raging Cajun fans really felt that there was no amount of physicality. And when you don't have that level of physicality on your offense, when they don't respect the fact, when there's no respect for any potential run game, because there is none, you've lost a big part of your offense, and you've lost the tactical and strategic battle once you get that far in. And really, it's just preposterous to think that without a run game that you're going to be any kind of successful. Yeah, you can run an air raid, but you still got to be able to run the ball for it. About, I would say your threshold for most high-functioning offenses for a running back, hit 75 yards on the ground. And you've done enough. You've created a threat that, hey, man, if we give it to him more, he's going to go for well over 100 yards, and you're going to have to think about defending the run, but we're probably not. We're just throwing them out there, getting some resets of our offense so we could really be able to function and throw the play action, throw the mid and deep ball. And through the air, Robert Williams, 5 catches, 134 yards. Dale Martin, through 2 receptions, 72 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Johnson, 2 receptions, 17 yards, and Brock Chappell, 1 reception, 5 yards, and a touchdown. And the actual worst game of they could possibly match up. I think the only way you could make it worse is replacing one of these teams with a potentially worse team. And I think Kent State for Oregon State would have sufficed there. But regardless, UMass definitely didn't show up to this game, and Kent State are definitely not the worst team. Everybody says Kent State, Akron, UMass. No, it's just UMass. that literally UMass is they should probably, they most definitely need to get back in the FCS because there's nothing going on there. 42-6, and all their 6 forces all in the second quarter, and it was 21-6 at half. And then Kent State scored 21 unanswered in the third, and then just left it there. They really didn't have to do a whole ton. And let me tell you about not having to do a whole ton. Let's look at the stats. Kent State drew to Shields, 10-18, 148 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jordan Newman, 15 carries, 80 yards. And Gavin Garcia, 11 carries for 76 yards. Reception, Deshaun Martin, 3 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. Sebastian Brown, 1 reception, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Ardell Banks, 1 reception, 34 yards, and a touchdown. Tariq Mulder, 1 reception, 10 yards, and a touchdown. Basically, they were getting turnovers, interceptions, and walking the final 15 yards of the field and going, and what? And what? UMass just sat there. We just showed up because we told our schedule sat there. And this is what the stat sheet looks like for them. AJ Harrison, 26 of 49, 227 yards, and an interception. Surprised it wasn't more. Brandon Hood, 10 carries, 36 yards. And actually, interesting stat, 7+ rushers total. And actually, 6 rushers totaling for 33 yards off of 23 carries. That is what UMass was doing. Nobody was blocking nobody, and nobody wanted to show up. Jake McConney, 7 catches, 67 yards. Donnie Gray, 6 catches, 60 yards. And Reese Atkins, 2 carries, 54 yards. Yeah, I'm glad I lined that up so I could completely ignore that in the most strategically blessed fashion so I could watch this game. The reason why... Yeah, the reason for that. Texas, 23, Oklahoma 6. I don't want to talk about stats. The stats don't matter in this because the storyline was actually set in stone before the game kicked off. I'm skipping this page. We're not talking about stats because there's not a stat here that I like. Not even the Arch Manning. I don't care about the Arch Manning. Arch Manning got lucky. The most beatable SEC team was ready in Dallas to take a thumping. But there was a strategic error. Actually, there was an error on many parties. And I'm going to put it like this. Whether it be the player, whether it be the coach, whether it be eventually the coach not doing something for the player, or the player not realizing that to be a leader, you got to be there. By the end of the game, John Mateer, 17 days after having a hand surgery, decided, I want to etch my name in Oklahoma, Texas lore. Forgetting that whenever this game happens, regardless of the season, it's half-assed through the season, and now that we got a team that could be able to compete and not losing 4 games before you face Texas, we have a chance to be great. Why would we not let Michael Hawkins, the incumbent, the guy who just was warmed up 40-plus points, against the Kent State team, but still ready to go, knows this offense, has been a part of the program for so long, and has waited patiently for his opportunity to just get taken by this. If you wanted to prove your point, I would have liked John Mateer back next week at earliest if you're really going to push him to start quicker. It would have never been 2 weeks after a hand surgery. And then all of a sudden, Ben Arbuckle, by the time the second half started, throwing in the conservative-ass play calls to save him. Because John Mateer, at that point, wasn't going to say no. He was already too far behind. He had to play hero ball, in his mind. Even in his mind, I probably would have sat there and been realistic. Man, really worth it? I want to win this fucking game. This is the great rivalry that I've been a part of it. Honestly, shit. Yeah, no, I would never. I would have told myself at some point, man, there's a lot of games ahead of me, and I just can't do this. I need to make sure I'm right, so I could be successful further down the line instead of risking it all to lose. John Mateer came back for what? So he could lose, take a hit to his reputation, and potentially risk health for the rest of the season. That's the storyline that I'm keeping with. Texas just got lucky that everything that happened after that was just the response to knowing that there was limitations. We were ahead at half. 6-3. Well, no, we weren't. We were down 6-3 at half. No. I was right the first time. We were up 63.5, and we looked good. It was going to be a defensive battle regardless. Shit, Archie Manning had a rebound. I don't think he was that good. It's just that our defense, let go, the bend don't break don't work whenever the other team's just bending you over. By the time they started scoring touchdowns, our defense was kind of gassed. And our offense wasn't able to keep up. If our offense was able to produce points at any level, it would have been a game. And maybe it would have ended up in a bit more of a shootout and maybe an overtime finish. But we'll never know because strategically, there are so many errors for Oklahoma. And it was the biggest joke of the week, I'm going to say. It's disappointing that at the end all be all, it has to be calls like that cost an entire game. I'm going to kind of just rush through these. And mainly because, I don't want to have to make a third video. FAU 35, UAB 33. Interesting storyline coming out of this. UAB's head coach, Trent Dilfer, got fired. And the press release was the most absolutely hilarious thing, where they were talking about quality of winning not aligning with what Trent Dilfer was providing, and it had me screaming. I was screaming. And so it was just one of those things where it's sitting there like, you're saying this is a team that didn't exist in 2014 because of money and legal issues and because they weren't competitive and nobody wanted to pay them to watch them lose in Alabama. And then they just started existing again once they got that cleared up. And ever since then, they've been mid as all hell. Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl winning quarterback and pretty solid coach, all things considered, just not put in a great position. Now we get onto what I wanted the snow to be continuing in Wyoming. San Jose State losing 28-35. I ain't gonna lie. Keep watching San Jose State. They are my team to watch just for one player. If you want one player to watch, and honestly, I can't wait to see where he goes after San Jose State, because there's no way this kid could stay just in San Jose. Danny Scudero. This man has been crazy. This was a stat. He had all 4 of San Jose State's touchdowns, 24 attempts, 10 catches, 180 yards, and 4 touchdowns, which ironically broke the school record for receiving touchdowns in a game. This man is probably the best receiver in all of college football, and people don't talk about him enough. They really don't. People don't, and it's really a Mountain West thing. Nobody watches a San Jose State. Why would I watch this? Danny Scudero. That man's going to show up, and he is going to be a ball hawk. He's going to be a magnet for that thing. So I made sure that I had a game on after OU Texas so I could be, if disappointed, which is what it inevitably became, or if I was extremely happy, I would be able to sit back and enjoy something that I knew was never going to disappoint me, and that would be Texas Tech and their big booster money absolutely obliterating Kansas 42-17. It wasn't even competitive, even though Texas Tech runs a 2-quarterback system. They got they have 10, I think it's like 10 plus, it's like $15 million more than any Big 12 team in booster money. And it was all over this. Look, this is how you use booster money. You just come out and you just start whooping ass on your division because nobody else is competing with you on the same level and not giving you the same money. Not even our boy Deion Sanders could ever claim to have that amount of booster money like that. Boise State beat New Mexico 41-25, and it was a game. It really was just a game. Boise State really is, they're just really taking care of business against a lot of these lower Mountain West guys, just like normal. It really sucks that they had to play pickup because they lost week 1 in terrible fashion, which we have covered in our first video. Go back. And our last game, San Diego State 44, Nevada 10. In a very non-competitive game, I would say. San Diego State just came out and did what they needed to do. Yeah, it was 35-0 or 35 points at half. When you're up like that and you get to 44, yeah, it was just 3 field goals. But yeah, that's it for this week. If you know somebody who might like college football and might like presentation styles like this, share, like. If you are a new viewer and you have subscribe. I mean, I guess obligatory things for this. But till next week, enjoy college football. Enjoy all your football. And hopefully you don't leave as heartbroken as all Oklahoma fans are this week. And hopefully your team makes better strategic decisions at the end of their games and throughout their entire weeks. Till next time.